Well, hey y'all, welcome to my first, and hopefully to be more, What's for Dinners. Now, I have 5 different recipes for y'all. They're all super simple and easy. Here, I'm just cutting up some onions because you know my kids are very picky, and we are making meatloaf tonight. And now I'm going to go ahead and add all of my ingredients. The Worcestershire sauce, the W sauce, whatever you want to call it. I do not measure. I just eyeball it. And also use that, ketchup. I did not have yellow mustard, so I had to use Dijon mustard, which was fine. A little bit of onion powder and garlic salt. And if you have not heard of that bone-sucking sauce, you can get it in a couple different flavors. I use the Cajun because I want a little kick, but not too much where the kids will not eat it. And there goes the Dijon mustard. And again, I do not measure. And before I put the crackers, I like to mix it up. So I'm going to skip this part and start putting in the crackers. And I do use 4 pounds of hamburger and 1 sleeve of saltine crackers. Usually we use the Ritz crackers, but I have not been able to find them, and I'm just making the old-fashioned way my grandma used to make it, so it works just as good. And yeah, that's how it's gonna be. And now I just make sure all the little chunks that are in there, I just break them up real good and mix this up as well. And if it feels too dry or thick, because I do not use eggs because I am allergic, I will add a little bit more Worcestershire sauce. Sorry, W sauce, y'all. And maybe a little bit more ketchup. And as you can see, I have to use 2 older Pyrex bowls just because of how much hamburger I do use. And I love these things. They were passed down from my grandmother. So that's the only thing I got from her. And I absolutely love it. And it fits perfect. And I do this in the oven for 375 for about 45 minutes to an hour just because they are so thick. But I do always keep a check on it. So about 50 minutes later, I would say, I go ahead and put ketchup on both of the meatloaf. And no, I do not use tomato soup or tomato sauce. I don't know, but I use ketchup around here. And yeah, sorry, my son is helping me film. So if it gets a little wiggly there, I do apologize. Alright, y'all, I'm going to go ahead and get these whole potatoes started. I always melt my butter first with a little bit of salt and pepper, and then I add both cans of these white potatoes. Give them a good boil. I add a little bit of whipping cream, as you can see, not too much. It just gives it like a really nice creamy flavor. And as you can see, that is done. So I'm going to go ahead and start on my broccoli and cheese because it does not take no time. Let that steam for a good 10 to 15 minutes with a little bit of water. Add Velveeta cheese to that. And that's my broccoli and cheese, y'all. Oh, forgot. I really don't add a lot of salt to my food, so you will mainly see a lot of pepper. And now I'm going to go ahead and start on my black eyed peas. I do it exact same way with the melting the butter. Add a little bit of salt and pepper and a can of black eyed peas. And here is our dinner for tonight. And y'all remember me mentioning on my last haul about these chicken biscuit fillets? Well, that's what we're having tonight. You just read the directions on the back. And that's all we put on there. I put some basically mayonnaise, ketchup, however they wanted it, even barbecue sauce if they wanted to. Served it with chips and applesauce. Like I said, a quick and easy meal on the go. There you go. And in my grocery haul and meal plan, I decided to do a chicken and sausage tortellini soup. So I'm using only half of that sausage, 1 pack of the ground chicken because I like the texture. And here I'm just going to go ahead and put in some garlic. I think I put around 3 to 4 cloves, big cloves of garlic, just because, y'all, I'm a garlic lover. So I added a little bit of the extra virgin olive oil because it was starting to stick. It had no grease. As you know, that sausage does not put out a lot of grease. So here I am cutting up some more onion. I'm going to add 1 whole onion. I'm going to chop it real fine, like I said again, because of my kiddos. And just make sure you give that a good stir with that olive oil because, like I said, it does stick. And you might have to use just a little bit more when you put in the onions and get it good and stirred up and whatnot. And since the meat and onions is good and cooked, I'm going to add 1 can with the juice of carrots, sliced carrots, excuse me. And since my kids do not like celery, I use celery seed. And I do add 2 teaspoons of celery seed, hoping to give that flavor. Now going on to the garlic powder. And now going on to the garlic powder, I only use 1 teaspoon of that. And now to my chicken broth. 1 package of this equals 1 cup of chicken broth. And I do add 3. And as I'm adding this, I'm going to go ahead and fast forward and I add 3 cups of water to this. Give it a good stir. As I'm doing now, reduce the heat. And I do let this cook for another 15 to 20 minutes. And for my forgetfulness, I forgot to add 1 red bell pepper. So I went ahead and added that. So I gave it another 10 minutes so that would get good and soft. You add the baby spinach for at least 5 minutes before you want to add 1 cup. I do chop off the ends of it, and it's a little less than a cup, but y'all get it. I do apologize about the background noises. The people across the way decide to jam on a Monday night, so I'm sorry about that. But you just add 1 whole cup of heavy whipping cream. I had to use what I had left, and then my new bottle. And this is what I got on sale, so I'm using this. And like I said, I got 4 of them put back. But you just add that to the back of the directions. I believe it was like 8 to 10 minutes. And this is what the soup looks like when it's finished, y'all. But after taste testing it, I did add a little bit of Parmesan cheese because it just needed that kick of flavor. And you add what you want, as much as you desire. But around here, we love some Parmesan cheese. And this right here is the kids' plate. I did use the extra sausage, put it on top, served with that pita bread that I got from Aldi's, which was amazing, y'all. And here is Johnnie's bowl. Mine is much smaller, but you will not regret this. This was so good. Now moving on to some classic BLT sandwiches. Here's some bacon cooking, as you can see. I'm cutting up some of my tomatoes from my garden. Yes, they are small, but they're still coming in. I forgot to even close the sandwiches, but you get the point. I put a little bit of pepper on it, and that's how we roll around here. Serve it with a bag of chips, and there's our dinner. And now on to my beef and noodle, almost like a hamburger helper, but I make a lot for my family. As you can see, I've done chopped up some onions real small, add some garlic, salt, some of that famous W sauce. You don't need too much, just a little. Some black pepper, and some black pepper, just a little dabble of it. Give that thing a good old stir. And while this is cooking, get you a pot of hot water to a boil. And now I got this right here from a local food truck, and their seasoning are amazing, so I just been using this. You see, you just take a little pinch or two and put it on in there. And I forgot to add that I did add 1 cup of milk and 2 cups of heavy cream, plus 2 cups of sharp cheddar cheese, 1 cup of cheddar cheese, and 1 of those packets of Velveeta sauce, and a good old pinch of parsley, which I use fresh parsley, and 1 cup of beef broth. I let this cook for a good 5 more minutes. Don't let this stuff stick. And here is our supper for tonight. I hope y'all enjoyed this What's for Dinner and gave y'all some meal inspiration. Thank y'all so much for watching, and I hope to see y'all on the next one.